everyone, welcome to this fantastic episode of the Electronic Cafe, where Mark and I have had the very good fortune just to interview Jerome Froese. And we talked about his new album, Sunsets in Stereo, which made our top 30 albums of the year episode for 2025. Mate, yet again, absolute gent, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. Just another brilliant person to speak to on the Electronic Cafe. I mean, when you talk about synth royalty, I mean, his father, Edgar Froese, founded Tangerine Dream.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't get more synthy than that. I mean, and obviously Jerome's a phenomenal musician with amazing albums himself. So yeah, it's a thrill to us, and great to speak to him.
Yeah, he's a talented man, and as you say, just a lovely bloke. Should we let our viewers see what the fuss is all about and why we're so excited to have this conversation, buddy?
Exactly. Electronic Cafe, another great interview for 2026. Mr. Jerome Froese.
So, what was the question again? I forgot about it.
Something tells me you're trying to deflect this question.
Hey everyone, we're having another pinch yourself moment on the Electronic Cafe as we are delighted to welcome music legend Jerome Froese. Jerome, welcome to the Electronic Cafe, my friend. We're so delighted to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and hello from the continent.
Yeah, of course. Look, Jerome, where do we start with your amazing career? I mean, obviously I want to kick off with this. Congrats on Sunsets in Stereo. What an album. I mean, Mark and I have been playing this to death.
Thank you.
Such a good album. You must be really pleased with it.
Oh, yeah, I'm very pleased with it. But on the other side, it was such a long time to make it,
Oh, really?
Because my last solo album I did it in 2012, I think. It's
been a while.
So many years ago. But in between, I did a lot of other projects. I did a project called Loom with the former Tangerine Dream member Johannes Schmölling from the early 80s. And I did a project and an album with Claudia Brücken from Propaganda. It was in 2018. Yeah, and then we had the pandemic and everything went a bit down. And I was working on my back catalog. But then, the last 1 or 2 years, I really gave it a punch to finish the album in the end now.
Yeah, as you say, too, time just flies, right? But you've done some amazing stuff back in the back catalogue.
I mean, I first discovered your music on the Neptunes album, which was 2005.
Oh, that's 2005.
Which is a phenomenal album. I think when we very first started doing the channel and we did the Facebook group, I think we posted about that back then. And obviously the album with Claudia, we featured highly. The reviews for Sunsets in Stereo have been stellar so far. I mean, they say it's probably your best solo work. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, and I think the most recent album you do is always maybe for you the best album. I mean, it reflects the most current state of your personal feelings and surroundings. But I think when I'm listening to my other solo albums, especially the one before, Far Side of the Face from 2012, I don't think it's such a difference. But so many people no, it's very different, and I really cannot understand it, really, that there's such a difference for so many people. But okay, I'm fine with it.
going right back, I mean, obviously you probably had a ton of influence from your father, but you got started quite young. Have we got this the right way round? Did you play guitar, keyboard, then drums to build your skills, or the other way round?
I started with the guitar first,
right?
Because my dad was originally a guitarist, not a keyboard player.
Sure.
And so there were guitars laying all around in our house, electric, acoustic, and so it was interesting for me to start with that. And keyboards, especially the old synth, modular synths, and all this old stuff. For me as a child, it was more like playing with a PlayStation, like in a Star Trek cockpit, and I don't know what to do with it, So it was more some abstract thing. And playing keys and keyboards came in the early 80s, mid 80s more, and I took lessons for a few years. I started with classical piano, but after a few weeks or months, I thought, no, that's not the way I want to go. And I switched to rock piano. And that was more my thing. And drumming came, I think drumming was the latest I did. It was, in the mid 80s, 85. And Chris Franke, former Tangerine Dream member, he was a very good drummer, jazz drummer. And sometimes when I came to his studio, when they were recording for Tangerine Dream, he had a drum kit in his basement somewhere in the studio. And he set me down to this drum kit and showed me a few tricks to learn. And I was sitting there hours learning these tricks while they were recording their records over in the studio.
Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool.
I mean, for those that don't know, I'll mention it. Your father was Edgar Froese, founder member of Tangerine Dream. I'm sure everyone does know that, but I just thought I'd mention it. But obviously, when you was growing up and you were developing your skills as a musician, you was obviously surrounded by music at home, like with your father and everything. Who was inspiring to you as a youngster that really made your ears prick up initially and just really get interested in music?
I mean, we had music all around because all these labels in the 70s, mostly Virgin Records, they were sending us every new product, every new record, even promos. We got, in the early 80s, we got tapes from bands nobody knew, like Simple Minds, tapes which appeared in the studio. Nobody was listening to them. I don't know. And but I think I was most impressed by some rock bands in the 70s. I really like Blue Oyster Cult. I really like their guitar work. I saw them last year. They played in Berlin, very rare concert, and it was amazing. And also very strange other things like ABBA. ABBA was very interesting for musical, for production, for things like that. And so I was inspired by so many music, which was all around. And when my parents also liked listening to Jimi Hendrix and stuff. And Jimi Hendrix was something I'm a guitar player, but then as a child, I couldn't do anything with Jimi Hendrix. That was very much too progressive for me, at that time. Now I love it, but then it was very strange for me. I was more into Beatles and things like that. It was more,
amazing,
accessible.
Look, it's been well documented. Your dad had David Bowie and Iggy Pop stay with you guys. First come to Berlin. Have you got any memories of that? Because I know you were very young.
Really? Yeah, of course, yeah. Well, David and Iggy, they were in Los Angeles before, and they had very much, how should I say? They had a career taking drugs, very much, and they said, okay, we want to go somewhere where we can come clean and nobody will disturb us in our change of life. I mean, originally it was David Bowie. He played some tracks of my father's album Epsilon in Malaysian Pale. That was in 1975. Yeah, 75 or 74. Don't know.
That time, yeah.
I should know, but I don't. And someone was telling my father, "Hey, David Bowie played your album," and told him for him it was his album of the year, the most important, one of the most important albums. And my father said then, okay, next time when David Bowie is coming to Berlin, we go to the show, and they did. And after the show, my parents went to the security guard and said, "Hey, I'm Edgar Froese. I want to see David Bowie." And the security guard said, "Yeah, okay, I'm Fred Miller. I also want to see David Bowie," like that. And but they finally managed to get in touch with him, and then they went backstage, and then some kind of relationship appeared then. And and now back to 1976, when they came to Berlin from Los Angeles. I mean, West Berlin was like an isle then, Nobody was disturbing you. Everybody was for himself. It was the mentality here. We had the wall. And when he came to Berlin, they didn't have an apartment, They came to Berlin, and a guy from our office, our accountant, he was looking for a flat or for an apartment for them. And he found some. It was just, it's from me here, it's just, I would say, 15 minutes by walk. And he found this apartment. And when they came to Berlin, it wasn't ready. So Iggy Pop, David Bowie, Corinne, his girlfriend then, and his son, Duncan, Zoe, Duncan Jones. And they came to our apartment and slept there for a few nights. We made a room for them, and they slept there for, 2 nights before they could move to Hauptstraße, their flat where they were living then, And they appeared in our flat every few days, It was like friends. I mean, I was always playing with Duncan. We were kids. We were about 5 or 6 years old, and we played with toys and stuff. And the other guys, my parents, Bowie, Iggy, they were sitting in the living room and talking about philosophy and books and whatever. The people, the press in Berlin and in Germany, they recognized, David Bowie is here. I mean, he was a superstar back then already, He was in Berlin, and the press was all the time. They were camping before our flat because they wanted to know, is David Bowie coming out? Or when my father came out of the flat, they said, is David Bowie coming? Soon is he over there? And it was terrible sometimes, but all the private things were great.
Yeah, amazing. Amazing childhood. But you've had the best childhood. Music, Bowie, Iggy. God, I'm very envious.
Iggy was, if people think he was the wild guy, at that time he wasn't. He was very calm, very friendly, very polite, very. I really liked him. He was a very, very straight and very intelligent character. He's a very good guy.
Jerome, I mentioned earlier, I mean, the first solo album of yours that I really got into was Neptunes in 2005, which if anybody's discovering you now with Sunsets in Stereo, they need to go back and listen to the earlier albums. And being a music fan I kind of like obviously indulged myself, and I looked up Jerome Froese and everything, and I discovered a load of photographs when you were younger, and certainly you as a child and a baby appeared on numerous Tangerine Dream album covers as kind of like little collages and little pictures of you for a number of years. I mean, that's a really sweet thing to have documented.
Yeah. And people back then, nobody was telling them who's on the cover. People asked my parents, who's the little girl on the covers? Because I had the long hair then. And but that was some kind of continuous thing to put me on the covers from the early beginnings. I guess until 1982, 83.
Yeah. I read your first sort of Tangerine Dream key was around 1990, and at that time you were also getting to experimental styles of electronic and dance music. So at that time, who were the artists then that made you sit up and listen to get you into that stuff?
I never was the guy who was listening to just electronic music. I was more into music like you had in your best of 2025 stuff. A bit more guitar orientated, alternative, indie, with synth elements, of course, and electronic elements. And I was more inspired by bands like Sisters of Mercy and stuff like that for I don't know, some electronic bands at that time. And when I joined the band, it was a time where we thought to change the music completely in some way. We just wanted to pull off some things we have done in the past, and to do new things at that time. And the guitar was obviously to use the guitar more, And I mean, TD or Tangerine Dream always used guitar all the time because my father was playing it. And we thought, okay, to give it a bit more structure, and we had a good chance to focus on the American market in the 90s. We had a major deal label, and they wanted to focus on the American market. So we tried something different with more structured songs. I mean, a bit less experimental. And I know many people are saying, if I'm listening to Tangram or Fedra, that's not my type of stuff anymore. I can't totally understand this. But we gained a lot of new listeners.
Yeah.
And they said, okay, I listened to Melrose or Raccoon first. That was my first album. And afterwards, I listened to Tangram or Fedra, and that was nothing for me, So it was always a changing of the listeners and an ongoing project, which always meant that people are jumping off and coming back to the band, or new listeners.
Got it.
Well, we spoke to Gary Newman. We were lucky enough to speak to Gary Newman, and he was talking about the fan base of Gary Newman, and he said it's kind of like a Tetris game where you're kind of losing people, but then you're encouraging people to discover your music at the same time, to sort of replenish your audience. So
I just heard a few weeks ago that he hated Tangerine Dream.
Really?
Yeah. Somebody told me, he asked Gary about what do you think about Tangerine Dream? And he said, I don't listen to hippie shit.
Really? Oh my God.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay.
touched on it briefly a moment ago. When you joined Tangerine Dream, obviously the early Tangerine Dream, they were known for their big synths, their analog synth, the modular synths, and I think you contributed quite a bit into changing their sound, not changing their sound, changing their equipment into more digital, more programming, more sampling. Was that a bigger job as it sounds? I mean, moving from what they were using into a more modern setup?
Most of it was that it was not so complicated anymore to produce music. You know, when you had this old equipment, it was very time consuming to record an album. On one hand, it was easy because always you had 8 tracks or maybe later 24 tracks, but you had to know which instrument, which sound you have to use on an album. And in the mid 80s, when the computers came up and you had software and you could use, 100 tracks for a piece of music. In the 70s, with all the equipment from the modular MOOCs, there was no possibility to save anything. So you don't have any presets and stuff like that. So everything on stage or on record was kind of unique. You couldn't replace it the way, And so that's why Tangerine Dream concerts in the 70s were always different. Every concert was different, you know. And so people said one concert, oh, wow, so great. And the next day, they had a bad day. And everybody was saying, oh, that was crap today. I mean, same band, same equipment. This was very, And in the 80s and 90s, there was much more possibility to save things, to work on unfinished things, to finish it. And it was totally different kind of work. But also, you were always a bit on the safe side, you know. There was less improvisation. There was many things. I mean, that already started in the 80s with Tangerine Dream too, when everything was more structured, less experimental, and less improvised. You know, and so I think it's a bit of both. I mean, it's cool that you had better production tools, easier production tools to come to a result, but on the other hand, many things, were missing too, you know, like if you do an improvisation or things which are spontaneous coming. You know, it's totally different work. But on the other hand, I mean, the whole instrument thing was changing at the time. The instruments became affordable, you know. Back in the 70s or late or early 80s, to buy a big synthesizer or sequencer or modular stuff, it was only if you had a few thousands of pounds to buy it. If you had a deal with a company, that was good because they sent it to you for free. But in the late 80s and early 90s, it was much more affordable for everyone to buy equipment and also to make music. And I mean, if you look today, you don't even need equipment anymore. You just play a prompt and then you got a track, you know?
I can understand the necessity of having to move the sound. I mean, me and Andy was in bands. I used to play synthesizers, and my early synthesizers, like you say, didn't have presets. And so between songs, you had to look at a chart or find the sound or try and get close to it. So, I mean, it was slightly different night by night, and it's certainly easier now. I mean, now with, you know, Mainstage and Logic, and you got all your sounds stored and everything. It's a lot easier. So I guess that everybody had to make that transition from analog. I mean, I never went down the modular route. I mean, that was just too much.
Yeah, for me too.
that was just too much to think about. But I mean, you know, I can understand the development needing to develop it anyway.
Yeah, definitely. always a good and bad on the same. I mean, many people say, or some people say, oh, I'm never going to use a preset sound, because a preset is a preset and everybody can use it. But if a preset is such as good as a sound, if you would do it by your own, why you can't use it? A good sound is a good sound, and it's a preset, it's good. And if you do it by your own, it's good. Okay, I mean, if you do it by your own, it's a bit more unique and special. No words about it. But I think if you have something to tell to the people, you can also do it with the Rompler.
Yeah.
I don't know if people know what a Rompler is, but a Rompler is an instrument with preset sounds only.
Yeah.
But if you have something to say musically and have good ideas, you can also do with minimal equipment. You can do something good. Yeah. And even with preset sounds, I mean, if you say, okay, I only use my own sounds and then the music will be better, that's nonsense, I think.
Even if you use a preset and you don't DI it, you go through an amp, you put it through a phaser or gates or whatever, you're changing that sound anyway. So
I mean, take the guitar, for instance, I mean, guitars in rock music, I mean, I don't want to say they always sound the same, but they sound quite similar, and they're also accepted by all people, So.
And actually, talking about guitar, I mean, guitar-tronica, I've seen that as a phrase to describe your music. Did you invent that, or did someone else?
Back when I worked on the Neptunes album,
Gotcha.
I thought, okay, everybody at that time was telling the term electronica, and I thought, okay, I'm doing this things mostly with guitar, so I say for me it's guitar-tronica, so nothing more, nothing less.
That's right. I love that. And I know we talked about some of your previous stuff before we jumped onto the actual interview, but I know you talked about Loom, which you did with Johannes, and we love that. Is that ever going to return, or is that just going to now stay as it is and you're going to carry on with your solo career? Do you think there might be another Loom return?
I don't know. I mean, I'm in very good contact with Johannes. We just had a phone call 2 weeks ago. He's doing solo stuff by his own. At the moment, he's planning a concert. He's doing in the Netherlands in the end of May, and but we were after the last Loom stuff, which was already now back in 2016, I guess. We had so different projects. I did this thing with Claudia and my solo stuff and back catalog, and he did solo albums and another project he did, and we're in good contact, and we all always talking about to play some stuff together again. But I don't know if this will really happen, because I mean, he's also 75 years old, and he's a guy. Okay, he's still on doing things, but you never know, so don't put the plans too far for that. But at the moment, we don't have any plans to do Loom. But I mean, strange thing is, when my father died, we got very interesting offers from Great Britain to reform the band with Johannes, myself, and Christoph Franke and play an old Tangerine Dream album. We got an offer to play the Logos album at the Dominion in London, like 1982, and I should replace my father on that concert. I mean, it was a nice thought, but it's too complicated to bring this together, So I said no, that's too much organizing, and Chris is living in LA, and I don't know. So
logistics can be an issue, right?
Yeah.
one of our favorite collaborations is the Begin album that you did with Claudia. I can understand, listening to your stuff, how long an album must take to write, produce, all the things that go with it, and you've only just finished your own solo record. Is there any other collaborations in the pipeline, or anything you would like to do or collaborate with?
I did some other things. I mean, I do know the Australian band The Church.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, you know them. And the guitar player Marty Wilson Piper, I met him many years ago, and we became quite close friends. I mean, he's now living in Portugal. But shortly before the pandemic, we were together here in the studio working on an album, because we thought he's a very much vinyl addict, and he's very much into krautrock and the old bands like Can and Agitation Free and all that. And we thought, okay, let's do something which sounds like a krautrock album, wild things with synths and guitars and drumming and so we sat here for about 10 days or 14 days, and played on an album. I mean, the album's it's not really finished, but some tracks are very close to finish. Nice. And I don't know, maybe we should bring out this one day. I mean,
sounds good to me.
Quite interesting. So no, I'm doing collaborations when it sounds interesting, and if it happens, okay, yeah. But I'm not the guy who's all the time looking around. Oh, who can I collaborate with? It's not my thing. But there are things which I like to do, and people I like. Then it's always great to collaborate. Always.
Sure. Mate, for this gem, just a quick thought on it. So the process for this new album, was you going into the studio with demos all ready to go, or was it going in the studio and waiting for the magic to happen? What was the process for this?
One main focus was I wanted to do a positive album with positive vibes. I think you can. It's quite a good time to have some positive vibes now, Yeah. And I hope I succeed with that, So
you have. It's glorious. I mean, it's a glorious.
Yeah. It was quite interesting. Sorry. Quite interesting was when I became my stats from Apple Music for streaming the songs, and one thing was interesting because. I know from the past that song titles always matter with stuff which is happening outside. And it was very interesting that I had a really peak in the last 2 weeks of the track Hope from Minneapolis in USA. And that's Minneapolis Hope. Yeah. So that's strange if you recognize that many people are searching for a track or something which gives them a feeling which they want to have right now.
Yeah, amazing.
Let us sail into tomorrow. Watch the sun rise in our eyes. We're flying high into the ether. We will fly so high into the sky.
It's no secret we love this album. As Andy mentioned earlier, it was in our top 30 albums of 2025. Now I'm strapping myself in, being prepared to be shot down. Is there any chance? That this will be out on vinyl? We understand the economics and the everything that goes with the vinyl production, but I mean, this would be an amazing record.
That's like, it's so good it deserves to be on vinyl, Jerome. That's what we're saying.
Yeah. I don't have anything against it. Problem is that if you want to do a single vinyl, you have to remove some tracks. So you have to do a double vinyl. And I don't know if I like this, to have a double vinyl. Yeah, you know, I mean, if you have to switch sides just once, I think it's okay. It's like in the good old days.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I remember it from the Begin album with Claudia. We had a vinyl edition with 3 vinyls, and in every side there were just 2 tracks on it. So you invested more time turning around the records than listening to it in the end. I don't know if I like this, but I tried something which would fit on a single vinyl, but you have to remove at least one track and replace it with another. And I thought maybe it's for vinyl lovers, it's something which is interesting, to remove one track and put another track on it, which is not on the CD.
Don't remove the Hope one, because obviously...
No, Hope is still on. Hope is still on.
Let us know, and we'll be the first 2 orders you get. We'll go, we'll be the first 7. Yeah, some people not realise. I mean, you've got a prolific career, an incredible musician. I mean, you're 7 times nominated for a Grammy. I mean, you must be proud. I know you're a very humble guy. We can tell that, and a lovely human being. But you must, at some point, go, I must be doing something right to be getting that many nominations for a Grammy, because there's not many artists that get 1, let alone 7.
Yeah, especially 7 in a row. You know.
Wow!
I think 7 in a row in about 3 or 4 years, and I think not many artists can say this about themselves, and especially not from Germany. Forget about it, you know. Germany is only I mean there are a few people out, but they mostly it's classical music, which is getting a Grammy, orchestra, and I mean I don't know. To be proud of it. I mean, I know that people say, the Grammys, it's industrial stuff, and it's. I don't know how it is today, but back then it was. I thought it was a bit different, because the Grammy, the nominations, and even the award itself were nominated by musicians, you know, and not the industry alone, And Edgar and myself, we were in the voting committee for a few years. And then you get such a big package of paper back then. I think now it's a PDF, I don't know, from a lawyer office in Los Angeles. And then you have to go through everything, and you are selecting who should be nominated, you know? And that's so much. You have to there's time for that. And after that, a few weeks later, there's another package coming. It's not this week, but this week, you know. And then you have to say who should receive the Grammy, you know, not the nomination, but the Grammy. And you can vote for yourself, and most people do, of course. We also did, but you can also vote in, I guess, 3 other categories. And back then, it was nice to get these nominations, because you knew that also other artists were voting for you, you know? And that was, you thought, that's something credible. I don't know how it is today, because we jumped out of the whole nomination thing in the late 90s, because it was just too time-consuming to do this every year. Yeah, it's a nice gesture to receive this, but it's nothing. You can be proud of it, okay, but it's nothing. You know, that I go, that I awake every morning and I'm looking at my Grammy nominations and then I go to work. You know, that's not what I'm doing. Yeah. They are there, and that's okay, and it's a good argument for promotion. But nothing more for me, you know.
Well, 8th time lucky, we're hoping. 8th time lucky.
Jerome, a couple of fun questions for you, my friend. So you're in a restaurant and a table for 4, including your good self. Who would be the 3 guests you most like to have at your table? Everyone does this. I love this, but it's something we get.
Yeah, I can imagine that you love this.
and dead or alive as well. So, you know, anyone in history, or you go, yeah, I'd like them at my table. Who are the 3 guests that would get the privilege of having dinner with you?
So it could also be dead guests, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, man. This is too short. This interview is too short to have an answer. Can you give me the next question and I think about the first again at the end?
Okay. We'll give you the next question, but it's equally as bad. So you might want to you might want to come back to this one. But if you were stranded on a desert island, what would be the one album that you could take with you?
The one album I would take with me, I guess. If I would say it's a Tangerine Dream album, I would say Force Majeure. Yeah, of course. No.
Yeah, great album. Great choice.
And if it's not a Tangerine Dream album or album for myself, some different album. What else? I think I would go for an album which inspired me very much as a guitarist sometime, and I always like to hear. I think it would be Queen Life Killers.
Wow.
Oh, so that can play that. We would never have guessed that. I love this question because you assume your style. So like when we interviewed Rusty Egan, the Blitz DJ, he bought Krautrock from the UK, from Germany to the UK. And when Mark and I asked him that question, we thought it's going to be Radioactivity or it's going to be, Trans Europe Express. And it was Van Morrison. It's complete. Yeah.
Of course. I saw Queen on that tour. My parents took me with me in 1978 when they played when they played this tour. And they played here in Berlin, a very large venue, Deutschlandhalle. It's about 8,000 people venue. It's already teared down. I was so impressed of this gig. And when I got the album a few years later, later I bought the CD, double CD of it. And I remember I was in a boarding school in France for a couple of months. And I had to go back to Switzerland on a train ride. And I was entering the train in Nîmes. That's very southern of France, close to Avignon. And I had a train ride to Geneva. And I was hearing all the time this album, looking out of the window, and I was totally impressed every time when I hear Brighton Rock. That's such an incredible thing. Yeah. I really love this.
Great choice.
So the dinner's getting cold, Jerome. Who's joining you for dinner, my friend?
There's only 2 questions. I don't know.
It.
I think I for your interview I brought some interesting things. I found something interesting which might be of interest for you. It's a flyer from 1974, I guess, from Tangerine Dream's first UK tour, and
wow!
Please take a look at the ticket price.
£1.30. £1.30 is that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Including VAT.
You can't even buy a coffee for that these days.
That's unbelievable.
That's amazing.
What an amazing poster! Is that an original?
That's an original. Yeah, that's
an amazing condition.
Yeah. We have. I have for all the memorabilia, I have a chest where everything is like this. And I have another interesting thing for you. I brought this Tangerine Dream album. You know this Exit.
Yeah.
It's a vinyl. It's a Japanese vinyl.
Yep.
And on the back you have myself here.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know that's
Yeah.
the American version. This is the front cover. You know, so it's the Japanese or European.
Nice.
Now, ta-da! But I have to show it because it's an artifact. That's the original on the cover.
Wow.
It's a Polaroid cut off and some I think it's from a magazine, and that is some
very cool.
Carton.
Yeah.
You say carton? Yeah. Yeah, that's the original from the cover.
That's beautiful.
The blueprint. The blueprint.
Yeah. Wow.
The Japanese copies with the obi strip, they look so cool anyway.
Yeah. That's an original pressing from, I guess, 1981 or 82 when it came out.
Wow.
And I have lots of this stuff. So I moved to a very different angle. So what was the question again? I forgot about it.
Something tells me you're trying to deflect this question.
Buddy, you don't have to answer it if you don't want to, but I find it interesting.
I named 3 people. I think from a classical perspective, I would say I had to switch between Mozart and Bach. I think maybe Mozart. I mean, Bach is very important for all the bass lines and bass. And Mozart for melodies.
Yeah.
Then then I say I take Mozart and Bach.
Yeah.
So I already have 2.
Yeah.
And the third person, I think some more modern guy. I think I would go today. I really like this kind of questions, but I think I go for another musician, and I would say because as an excuse that I didn't like his music back then, but now it would be Jimi Hendrix.
Wow, that's a table. I love that table. That's one of the best tables we've heard, I think. I love that.
I don't know.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's so cool.
I think it would be an interesting conversation.
God, yeah. Yeah, I'd like to be at that table. God, it'd be incredible. Jerome, listen, mate, thank you so much for coming on here on your Saturday morning. Yeah, Mark and I are beyond grateful for you coming on.
Yeah, thanks. It was fun.
Absolutely love this. This is, honestly, for everyone at Electronic Cafe, if you haven't heard this, check it out, because if you don't, you're missing out. This is a great album. Mate, we hope you do get to tour in the UK. If you do, let us know. We'll happily promote the show for you, because we love what you're doing, and we'd love to see you and have a beer and, shake your hand again. So thank you so much. Really appreciate you, my friend. Yeah, and if you guys are in Berlin, let's meet up for a coffee. Maybe somebody's playing in Berlin where you're coming over, Certainly due another trip to Berlin, so we'd love to meet up. That'd be fantastic. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we'll buy you dinner. Oh, okay. Thanks a lot. We'll have our own, mate. My table for 3 is me, you, Mark, and Mr. Reader. There you go. Easy. Jerome, thank you very much for your time. Are you loving what you're doing? We'll be in touch soon. It's a real thrill for us to speak to you, and thank you very much for giving up your time. Appreciate it. Thank you very much, guys. And best greetings to the continent. From the continent. From the continent. Hopefully from overseas. Take care, Jerome. Thanks, Jerome. Okay. Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.